Oh, yes, that's true. Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, you can start. Go ahead.
In 3, 2, 1.
Game resumed.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Novawar.
And Maximus, sell it the raid call.
Yeah, and we're making no money on that, so don't get your panties in a bunch. Mr. MaximusBlack,
Yes, sir.
hit me up with the sound of, if you've got one, Lex Luger from, you know, when they were trying to hand the belt over from Hulk Hogan to Lex Luger, but then he shit the bed because he was a terrible wrestler, but he was just in really good shape.
I have no idea what Lex Luger sounded like, so I'm just gonna go with.
All right, okay.
Oh yeah, stick it to a Sun Jam.
All
I know
right,
it's
so
not Lex Luger, but
well, it's not
you know,
Lex
Randy
Luger,
Savage
but Randy
is gonna-
Savage. You can't go
Yes.
wrong with Randy Savage.
No,
That's not terrible.
what did Lex Luger say anyway?
Lex Luger said nothing because he was fucking horrible. He was just basically a really ripped. Like if he basically took a bodybuilder and put him into wrestling.
Okay.
And he was supposed to the torch was being passed from Hulk Hogan to him as the new, like, really good guy that everybody in the world was supposed to love. But he sucked. So that didn't happen. And Hulk Hogan continued to wrestle until he was like 104. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another normal game sent in by the fans to www.lag.tv, lag.tv. Just hitting it up all over the place. We got the sweet and the sexy. We got this new replay system going on. Everything is going well. Up here in the top right position, we are looking at Lex L. Hoyle, which I believe is like, seems like a card game on Windows 3.1 systems or some shit. And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we are looking at BMF Brando. I was going to ask you for another Marlon Brando impersonation, but that went so poorly last time, I didn't even bother.
Yeah, no,
Asking
don't
for
ever
another
do,
one.
no, don't even.
No, just going to toss that one right out the window. And it looks like we're looking at a late pool.
Yeah, he's gonna go. Yeah.
That was 16.
Was it 16?
It was
I don't know.
pretty
Is
close.
he planning on doing something cheesy here? Because I still don't see.
Oh no, it might have been a 10, and I just didn't recognize the spine pool going down really quickly. Probably a 10.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Probably
I
a
was gonna
10.
say,
We are seeing some cheese here though.
There. That's what I was saying. I was like,
Yeah.
where's the hatch at?
Yeah, the hatch
and
is
there
up
it is.
here. And there it is.
Okay.
So
he's gonna do a proxy hatch in the base, and it looks like. Was it Hoyle?
Hoyle
Is quickly going to figure this out here, and he's just going to put a pylon beside it and drop down one cannon. You know, as the Protoss, you kind of hope that the Zerg says, all right, fuck this, I'm just going to cancel, cut my losses, and be done with it. But a lot of Zergs are really stubborn. They're still going to let that hatch finish and maybe even get out a couple of units so you can start harassing the probe line. But, wow, 2 cannons instantly going down, so it's really not going to do anything. And what you want to do is, once your cannon finishes, don't start attacking the hatch. Focus those larvae, because cannons destroy them, like, in, 3 or 4 hits.
Yeah.
And it basically just can't build anything. So make sure you go after those larvae first, and then, you know, hit that hatch in between.
Absolutely, and that's why it's kind of imperative. Oh, okay, so he did cancel it there. I wasn't sure if he was going to, but smart move on here. Look at that clutch cancel on that second cannon. That was very nice, so he's going to be able to maintain that. But look at this, putting a hatchery over on the other side. He is hell-bent on making this work right now, and it's not going to do a whole lot more for him for very much longer, as we see Hoyle basically building up normally down here as an expansion. He's not really worried about this. He's already shut down the first one. The second one will go much the same. He will throw down a cannon. He will say, "Cometh at me, bro." He will kill everything and anything that comes out of that hatchery, and he will be perfectly fine. And at this point, it looks like Marlon Brando has made one too many offers that he can't back up.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Another hatchery going down again, and another cannon going down beside it. Something that I will add is never chuck down the second cannon right away, because the Zerg can be a dick and wait till the last moment and cancel, and then you're forced with 2 cannons. So what you want to do is absolutely put down that first cannon right away, but wait till that hatchery hits about 1,000 HP, and then chuck down the second cannon. So that way, he knows that the second cannon's going down, and if he cancels last second, you're still going to be able to cancel that second cannon.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like Brando is starting to build up for some sort of frontal assault here with some roaches. That's his only hope, really, to do too much more. That hatchery is not going to do diddly squat. as he tries to get a queen out. It looks like, just as you were saying, Hoyle getting rid of those larvae, so they're not going to be doing anything. A zealot, Bob, coming up to help that cannon out. As he continues to build up some zealots here, he's got a pretty decent wall here. Those roaches aren't going to be able to do too much, although they will get rid of that cannon quickly. And then from there, he really does want to have maybe a stalker out pretty soon, because he will have quite a roach force built up here.
Yeah, there is quite a few roaches coming up here in coming up to the natural right now, and this is going to be pretty tricky for Hoyle to hold. If he goes right after these pylons, it's going to be a severe blockage, and not only that, he has no units here to stop this. He's got one cannon. The roaches are now working their way into the natural, and all these probes are just going to be decimated here at the natural, and the roaches are looking mighty strong. And he's only got, what, 2 gateways right now, and the, fuck, why can't I say this? The warp gate research, only like 40% done.
Yeah.
How does he survive this?
Good question. I actually don't have an answer for you right now. His answer seems to be build a robo facility really close to the proximity of the roaches that will soon be coming up his ramp. I don't think he's going to be able to get anything out of that, to be honest, and if he does, I'll be impressed, and it will mean Brando has wasted a lot of time down here. He should just be cleaning this up, getting rid of this cyber, and then moving up the ramp immediately. He shouldn't even wait for anything else. If that robo goes up and even a single freaking immortal comes out, that will give the Protoss player some hope. He is supply blocked, he is down, he is without core, he is without much gate. He has got the steepest of all hills. We're talking the hill that your grandpappy told you about when he was a kid, that he had to walk uphill both ways in the wintertime without shoes, carrying a 400-pound woman that tried to bring him to the high school prom, but it was the other way around because she was too heavy to actually make it up the hill, so he was the one carrying her to victory and carrying her to the prom, even though his parents said, no, don't go with her. You're going to wreck the family gene pool if you bring that shit into here. And he said, but I don't mind because it's what's on the inside that counts. And right now, the immortal on the inside of that robo facility is what counts. And he needs to get that son of a bitch out.
I gotta butt in there. If it's on the inside that counts and the girl is very big, wouldn't that just be like a really chewed up Big Mac? Which is still really not great.
Wait.
Anyway, that's a lot. That's a shit ton of roaches. And that one hero immortal in the back with already 3 roach kills, going to be able to do significant damage. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Masters League, so if we're going to see it, we're going to see it here.
This is what's going to happen.
This is what's going to happen. And man, that one immortal in the back, now with 6 kills, 7 roach kills, 8 roach kills, the probes are dwindling here, but it doesn't really matter because the Zerg's only got 17 drones himself, so it's pretty damn even economy-wise, and still no warp gate research, but I do like the fact that he built another cybernetics core even before the one in his natural died, so he's been doing a really good job at sort of picking up where he was left off, and a second immortal is just about to pop, and I think we're basically even at this stage in the game. Now the Zerg is forced to go ahead and get his natural, and actually Protoss still kind of in the lead, considering that the probes and drones, the drones just went up quite a bit there for the Zerg, but the tech opposed to the economy, so I would put it at a relatively even playing field right now, except that the Zerg does have a quite a bit of better economy at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Zerg is now going up to the 3rd base. There's only 32 drones on the map at the moment, but I'm assuming he's going to put every single last roach, every last larva into producing nothing but drones to fill up those mineral patches as fast as humanly possible, and he has the ability to do that right now. If he keeps reasonably good tabs on his opponent here, and he has the immortals in place to do so, one actually going into the base here slowly on the side to keep track of probably the economy of his opponent and what the tech situation is like. As long as he can do that, he can at least give himself the time to do one cycle or 2 of larva before his opponent makes his way down to be able to attack. And I don't think the Protoss has any intention of attacking right now. He really has to work on getting his economy back up and going, because as you said, it's pretty much become a level playing field at this point after that attack. And I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. I didn't think the Zerg was going to be able to pull that much out of that attack, given the 2 kind of failed attempts at those hatcheries. But those roaches did a hell of a lot more damage.
That's the thing is they were failed hatcheries, but at the same time that was like 3 cannons that went down, more pylons that went down, and it was just, and the Protoss expanded on top of that. You only have so many minerals at the beginning of a game, and the majority of the extra stuff the extra minerals that he would have had to use for units were into structures. So it was a really good attack there from the Zerg, being able to just transition immediately into that Roche rush. And it just did really huge damage. I actually have to give my hat off to Red, to the Protoss player, for actually holding that. I mean, that keeping his cool and holding, that was really impressive.
It was deadly close, and that Robo was really, I mean, obviously the Immortal that came out saved the day there. That Immortal's still good to go with full health and full shields at this point. He didn't even lose his shields in that exchange. You know, that was the determining factor of that battle, and at this point, it's going to possibly be the determining factor of the next battle as well. Having these Immortals is something quite special, but he has to be careful of the Zergling count because he doesn't have a whole lot of Zealots in here. And he's going to lose a couple of sentries if he's not careful, but the Zerg player is going to get out of there before losing too much more. This is like the weird middle ground for Protoss and Zerg battles where you get a lot of this Immortal and Sentry deal. Where if the Zerg player just decides to mass a whole whack of freaking Zerglings, if the force fields just aren't there, the Zerg player actually wins with that tier 1 unit. The attack speed and numbers are just too high.
It really all depends on the player. I mean, I do a lot of Immortal Sentry all-ins, and Zerglings is a huge hit or miss. It's all about if you can get around and get us around before those force fields go off. But at a level like this, it's a rare thing for you to just totally screw force fields that badly. But really liking the transition that Brando's making. Earlier when that Overlord was in the base and a couple of sentries picked it off in the main of the Protoss player, he noticed that there was the Immortal Sentry that was going down, so he immediately popped down the Spire, and the thing that's really going to save him here is a lot of mutas. But the question is he going to be able to get those mutas out in time? Because, well, here it comes. The Immortal Sentry is working the way into the natural, and as long as he can hit those force fields and get up a good Guardian Shield, I don't know if Zerg's going to be able to survive this.
No, it's a hell of a lot to deal with, and the energy level of the sentries is still good for another round or two of force fields, so he's got plenty to play around with here, and he's actually going to be kind of cautious, as there are a couple of units here prepared for this attack at this point. And he is going to pick off a couple of stray units over in the corner while putting down a couple more force fields. Very nice economic use of those force fields as more Zealots coming in. Beautiful closing off there to be able to pick off some of those extra units. And like you said, there's no real Mutalisk coming out right now, and that's going to be a bit of a problem here as he's going to be forced to try and pick off these Immortals as the energy of the sentries finally starts to dwindle, I should say. Another Immortal going down, one more left on the field, and that's going to be more than enough with the backing of those Stalkers. And this is going to be definitely still a difficult hold for the Zerg, but it isn't impossible.
No, it's not impossible, but you're right. It is going to be very, very tricky, and now the force fields are going down at the natural ramp, not allowing any more roaches from the main to come down and give aid to the natural. And more roaches are going to pop out, but there's still a sentry there with quite a bit amount of energy left. And unfortunately for the Zerg, when you put up those evolution chambers at that natural like that, it just sort of creates a choke, and it allows the sentries to use even less energy to force field across there and just get a really nice surround on those on the Zerg units. But beautifully, the drones are pulled, and there is that surround that the Zerg so desperately needed, and he is going to be able to hold this. And for some reason, there's a cannon down there too.
What the fuck, cannon? That cannon's going to win the game. There it is, hero cannon. Oh shit! Oh no, it's dead. All right, well, it made an effort there, and it looks like the Protoss player might have actually done enough damage there to be able to finish this up. He just finished another warp cycle by the looks of it, and he's going to be bringing it in. Oh, the roaches! Oh wow, the roaches actually. The numbers just keep coming. Yeah. My goodness, they just keep pumping these bad boys out. It's a baby-making factory down here in the base of Brando, as he's going to be able to push this out. I thought with one more warp cycle he'd be able to micro his way around these roaches, but no. And again, with a biting, nail-biting hold there by now the opposing player in the Zerg, we have more Starcraft to come, and now the Zerg player is going to be cleaning up all these forward pylons as we have yet another reset. We are now down to 2 base to 2 base,
Yep.
It's looking an awful lot like at least the Protoss player, income-wise, is out-managing Brando after that unfortunate pull of the drones.
But it was a beautiful pull.
But it was
perfectly timed.
It was perfectly
nice.
timed. You have to be perfectly timed with those drone pulls because it can be the difference of winning the game or staying in the game or losing it, I should say. And in that case, it actually allowed him to stay in this longer. And now he's the one going up here to put on some pressure. There's not a whole lot the Protoss player has currently. The Zerg player actually has the food count advantage.
Well, the one thing that Protoss has is OP sentries, and we still have
and a choke.
Yeah, we still have this debris there. So as long as that's there, this Protoss player is going to be perfectly fine. And look at this, beautifully putting down a couple of gateways there because he knows once the debris goes down, he just doesn't have the enough gas to create sentries to have those force fields for that entire ramp. So even if he gets rid of that debris, he's still creating an even smaller choke, which is still going to allow those Immortals to basically tear apart any amount of roaches. And now the roaches coming up, and that is not what that Zerg wanted to do. And a lot of Zergs find themselves putting themselves in these shitty ass positions where they sort of have, you know, but roaches coming from the other end here. I didn't even see these roaches coming up.
What the shit? I didn't see them either. That
was very nice.
Very nice. So I didn't even see anything moving on the mini-map there for that period of time. But yeah, they're coming up for that choke. Just a little late to the party, unfortunately. They will be able to pick off all those zealots. And they still have enough numbers to do a little bit of pressure here, really, if they wanted to. They got to be careful of that cannon not doing extra DPS.
Oh, this roach
but look at this,
tear
moving in and tearing everything to pieces, getting rid of those stalkers, going to get rid of those Immortals possibly also. But that cannon actually doing that extra DPS, the Immortals going to tear them up. They're going to be cleaned up and pushed out.
Unfortunately, he was going after the stalkers there. He should have been focus firing on those Immortals first.
Those definitely.
And I mean, I was just about to say that a lot of Zergs screw up this chance where they just blindly go up a ramp and they know that there's Immortal and sentries up there, but that was so beautifully done there by the Zerg with doing that flank that I didn't even notice. There was a third that was down for the Protoss as well, and I don't know if he actually killed that or he forced to cancel, but that was just really nicely done. And now sitting at about 1,000 minerals opposed to the 400 that the Protoss got, putting down another third. Man, we got a game here.
We absolutely have a game right now, and it looks like he's going to push out and see what he can find. Maybe he's going to be looking for something along the lines of a third or a fourth out here, down here at the location just forward of the main. But in reality, he's working his way up the left side of the map now on 4 base. Once that is up, if we look at the drone count right now, he's up to 65 to 57 probes. So in terms of workers, we're looking pretty good. GG, well played, no BM. I don't know if that means that he's just like waiting to see if he's going to lose, or is he seeing these units and seeing that he's not going to be able to hold this next wave, or if he's just saying this because it is a good game.
I think he's going to be totally fine holding this with Muta. I mean, the Mutas are out, and there's not really... Well, what are the sentries going to do? Tickle those Mutas to death? Obviously, the Immortals can't shoot the air, and that's just a lot of Muta.
That is a large ball of Muta.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of Muta.
That is a substantial amount of Mutalisk, and the Zergling count is actually starting to pile up underneath of them now as well.
He needs to back up right now. The only way that he can hold this is if the Zerg comes down to the bottom ground. He can force field so that the Zerglings can't get in there as well, and then those Stalkers and Sentries with a Guardian Shield be able to hold it. But it's really risky for him walking up here. This is possible with really good force fields, and he manages to get some decent force fields off, but the Lings are still in and around there, and some of the Stalkers are focus firing on those Zerglings, and the Mutas are just tearing everything apart. And I don't think this is going to be enough for the Protoss player. The Mutas are just too strong. There's just way too much DPS, and all it's going to be left is those Immortals, and obviously they can't do anything, and Protoss is going to be forced to back off here.
No, that's going to be it. Yet another hold here, and a really smart transition by the Zerg moving into those Mutalisks. He's seeing the high numbers of Immortals and Sentries, and he's got enough to handle these Stalkers. Those Stalkers with some decent micro there, getting a couple extra kills. Out of that, the Zerglings cleaning up the Immortals, and here we are with that ridiculous combination of Muta and Zergling that everybody in the world hates to go up against. Yeah. It doesn't even matter if you have it perfectly countered. You still think to yourself, shit.
Yeah,
I've got to put up with Mutalisk and Zerglings now.
It's even worse in Heart of the Swarm. I mean, Mutas are so much stronger. But you know what? It was a good game. I like the fact that he got Blink here, and he's blinking his heart away with 4 Stalkers. But at the end of the day, when you are 20-something, 27 minutes into the game, you really need your third-tier tech. You need to have those Colossus out to really tear apart those Lings right away so that those Stalkers can focus fire on the Mutas, because the Stalkers don't know. They're just shooting whatever's in front of them. And unfortunately, those Zerglings not only can provide the DPS needed for those Mutas to clean everything up, but they also provide the, hey, look at me, don't pay attention to those Mutas.
Nope.
And then the Mutas clean
retard
everything
magnets.
up.
Exactly. Massive numbers of retard magnets. Not just a single one or two, but we're talking about like 20, 30 retard magnets simultaneously. The force is strong with 30 retard magnets. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was one of the better normal games we've had in a long time. Hopefully you enjoyed that cast.
No, that might even be the best one.
That's pretty damn good. Well, we have to be careful now. Maybe in terms of just raw, awesome
good
play.
Game, yeah. Maybe
because
not
Fire
as-
to Blaze was still a normal game, and
Yeah,
that
it's
shit is still bananas.
Yeah. You got me there.
But in terms
Anyway,
of actual
guys,
StarCraft,
that was it.
that was probably
That
the
was it.
one. That was the one. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that like and favorite button. Let us know how you felt about this game. It was an actual game of StarCraft, casted with actual StarCraft shit.
Yeah, and
That's a rarity.
Also, guys, you're going to notice that we're going to have some raid call pre-rolls. We're just trying this raid call thing out. If you're interested in signing up on raid call, we'll add the links to the website below, and also we do have a raid call ID number as well that I'll put in there, where at least I hang out all the time. Adam's in there once in a while, but yeah, if you're interested, it's there.
Absolutely. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Novawar.
And hit that like button.
Punch it.